Well, good morning, everybody. We had severe weather, very impactful yesterday in the upper Midwest, the plains, and the deep South. And this trend will continue eastward today into tomorrow as well. As you can see in the deep set in the southeast, we're going to have showers and storms moving through into Thursday afternoon, and maybe some snowfall up in the northeast. And on the backside of this exiting system, we have snow as well, and maybe places that had severe weather just a day or two ago, right? So, a lot going on the next couple of days. Thankfully, things will calm down. But in today's forecast, we're just going to discuss the severe weather upcoming today and into the weekend and give you an idea of what's going to be happening into the weekend here. So, with that, let's get started here. So we have a wide area for severe weather, pretty extending all the way from the Gulf Coast all the way into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, and still parts of the Ohio Valley, Mississippi Valley here, and in the deep South, like I said, with the exception of the Southeast. So let's go over the cities here: Galveston, Texas, all the way up to Fort Wayne, Indiana, Jonesboro, Arkansas, Texarkana, all the way up to north central Pennsylvania, parts of western New Jersey, and points to the south towards Tallahassee here is within the marginal risk. And the marginal risk extends all the way up to New York City, Toronto, and generally west of the area, just to the west of Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana here, right through Dallas, Austin, towards Victoria. And general thunderstorms surround it further to the west and east. And similar to yesterday, although not quite as intense here on the northern edge of this, we have it's not a higher risk. We have these two distinct areas of tornadoes potential here with a 5% tornado risk within both of the brown areas, and just outside that, within the marginal risk of tornadoes, in between these, we have the stippled region here, which is a SIG 1 potential intensity up to EF2 or slightly higher, right? That's the general reasonable intensity according to the way this group is laid out, okay? So that doesn't mean you can't get EF2 in other areas here, but the likelihood is highest within these stippled regions, at least right now. So we got to be mindful of the severe weather today as well. So one more day of this, guys, and we'll be done for a little while here. Uh, Wind, we have a highest wind risk is up to the north here and near Columbus area, moving back towards parts of Indiana, east towards the Philadelphia area, Maryland, south of Harrisonburg. So that's where you have the highest chance of having high winds of 50 knots within 25 miles of a point. Excuse me. But to the south here, along the Gulf Coast, you have a SIG 1 intensity level within the slight risk area here, which means you could have up to hurricane force wind gusts today. So, but then again, we have a large slight risk all the way within this risk area, and a larger marginal risk just hitting Atlanta area all the way along the East Coast, pretty much encompassing the whole threat area here. So moving on to the hail risk. The hail risk looks to be maximized generally in the western portion of this risk area, okay, and the northern portion here, with the highest risk in the Maryland, Pennsylvania area, back towards Lexington, Kentucky, towards Mansfield, Ohio, which means potential for 1 inch, 1 inch hail, a little bit larger, highest here in the yellow area. Moving on to excessive rainfall. This is the ongoing excessive rainfall outlook, which should change shortly to the day one. This should be your day one soon. But anyway, this is today. The highest risk for excessive rainfall is along the Gulf Coast here, parts of Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, back towards Austin, Texas here, with a large marginal risk all the way up to New York State, kind of bisecting the southeast here, which it touches Atlanta and down towards the tip of the panhandle. This is a QPF, the total precip associated with the rainfall risk here in the deep south. Focused mostly in the Shreveport area, down towards Houston, Texas, up to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and parts of Alabama today. So when we go into the mid-level flow here, this tells the tale what's going on in the next 48 hours. In the south part of this flow, we have this mid-level feature moving through here. As loop starts over again, you'll see it here, right? Mid-level feature moves to the deep south, right? This is 06Z, so this just run like a couple hours ago. And you have your northern stream energy meeting up with your southern stream energy as we get towards the eastern seaboard here. They phase, right? And then you get a more coherent line right along the eastern seaboard with a pretty much south and north flow here, right? And so by we get towards Thursday, Friday morning at 2 a.m. here, all right, get towards 2 a.m. here is where it stops. Let's stop this. 2 a.m. There we go. Move this back a little bit. 1 a.m. today, tomorrow. This is Wednesday today, this afternoon. So we got a mid-level feature down here. Trough to the northern stream. I'm gonna move this through a little slower here. And then we get into 9 a.m. Tomorrow. And tomorrow morning, you got this mid-level feature move to the deep south. Heavy rain likely ongoing here, right? And then the front sweeps out to sea by 2 a.m. on Friday. So, and we'll be done with that. And a more zonal flow sets in as we head into the weekend. Now, here's your surface features roughly starting about now. You have your showers and storms ongoing here in Texas, the central plains to the upper Midwest here with your low pressure moving to the north. All right, we move through time. Backside snow here, okay? That's something we haven't really talked about a lot, but this backside snow can be impactful as well. All right, so you have your mid-level feature going through the flow here, and you see down to the south, this is 4 p.m. Showers and storms and severe weather developing on the southern end of this and the northern end. Kind of a messy setup up here, but you have, it looks like a line moving through the northeast here, mid-Atlantic, and some other embedded potentially severe storms moving through. And these storms really get going to the MCS type feature along the Gulf Coast, okay? Which looks to be the most severe portion of the line at this point, all right? Extending all the way down to the Gulf Coast. This is overnight on Thursday, okay? And MCS seems to want to maintain itself, maybe becoming more of a straight line wind threat as you get towards Thursday morning. And kind of thinned out up to the north here, right? But you see the energy on the backside of this. The HRRR wants to bring some potential snow into the Raleigh area right on the backside of this, okay? And maybe up to the New Jersey coastline, New York. Can you believe that? So, as far as temperatures go, let's take a look real quick. All right, sorry about that. So we start off very warm here, guys, and then cooling off as that cold front pushes to the east, but warming up quite quickly here out west again. So starting off with the deep south and the southeast, this is the next 48 hours, okay? So starting off this at 10 a.m. today, showers and storms will be ongoing here in parts of Louisiana, Texas, and points to the north here towards Nashville as well. These storms are moving to the east, and we get maybe a low pressure developing along the Gulf Coast in conjunction with that mid-level low moving through the flow, right? Storms firing up here all on this line here, moving to the east. Really getting pretty intense at this point. Baton Rouge, Jackson, 10 p.m. overnight tonight. Okay. Now, if we switch to the severe weather parameters associated with this, supercell composite, supercells are looking pretty likely along the Gulf Coast here. Okay, this is where the highest parameter space is with this, and we move this further to the east, and this moves further to the east with the system as it moves towards the southeast coast, and the significant supercell composite values take into account a lot of different parameters, right? Moisture, shear, things like that. So I could get into the details, but really it doesn't matter at this point. You have to look at the parameters here, okay? Also, significant tornado parameters are highest along the Gulf Coast here as well, and into parts of central Alabama as this system moves to the east. And it's not zero even up into the parts of central Georgia into Augusta area, but it's maximized, you see, right along the Gulf Coast as that system moves to the east over Thursday afternoon and moves offshore. Okay. If we look at the bulk shear associated with this, shear values are highest, of course, where that surface flow is, especially in the lowest levels. And you see what looks like a front pushing through the central Georgia. And on the backside of this, of course, we have, you see these shear values are pretty high right here, right in central Georgia, actually, with that front pushing through. So we'll have to watch that as well, okay? We look at helicity values associated with this, which is another indicator of severe parameter space, okay? 0 to 1 kilometer storm relative helicity approaching, less than 100 meters over 100 is enough to get tornadoes, okay? So within this parameter space, we're talking, 170, 190, okay? And we go back to 3 kilometers. 3 kilometer, if you have like 150 or more, you have tornado potential here as well. Switching back to the radar. Right ahead of this line. Pretty intense line of storms moving through Thursday morning. Now, limiting factor with this might be the time of day this is coming through. But you can see how this progresses through the day, today, today into tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon. Backside snow here in parts of Tennessee and North Carolina and Virginia, and some freezing rain potential here as well. Okay, so and we'll go over that area next. So we start off the northern part of this forecast area, right? The Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, Upper Midwest here. We have this system with the low pressure up into the Upper Midwest, the Great Lakes area. Showers and storms, severe weather ongoing here, right? This is a little bit about 4 hours, 5 hours from now, so back it up a little bit. This is more of a current look at it. Maybe some frozen precip up into Maine, into Canada here. Like I said, snow on the backside here, right? Storms moving through. 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Strong line of storms moves through the northeast mid-Atlantic with a wide swath of snow moving into Canada here and points southward into the Nashville area. Storms moving through Ohio Valley, Mississippi Valley here, and looks like maybe some supercellular type structures here in this part of the area, right? So really got to watch out for this here. Let's go through this a little bit longer. Another line. You see these storms look supercellular in nature again, and along the southern part of this, you see that as well. This line kind of gets stretched out, and as these two systems connect, it re-intensifies here on the backside. Okay, and like I said, wants to bring some snow on the backside of this in the Norfolk area, potentially heavy snow here, Richmond up towards Washington D.C. Okay, let's switch the temperatures real quick. I don't know, give me marginal at best here for temperatures with this, so we'll see what happens. But going back to the surface simulated radar, we'll see. Maybe this is dynamically induced by cooling aloft, but we'll see how that plays out. Maybe some backside snow up here right along the coast, and the system moves out, right? Maybe some northwest flow snow after that. Go back to temperatures as it passes through. Cooling off quite a bit with some high winds here, bringing some lower wind chills into the northeast during the period, right? So as far as the severe parameters go, you can see this is 1 p.m. today, March 11th, right? The highest surface-based cape is, you see how it stretches all the way down, down into the south here and right along like the east coast. This is more than enough for severe weather up in this area, especially this time of year. Going to mixed layer cape, it's a good indication of cape throughout the column, which is energy for storms, which is plenty, right? Okay, moves eastward and northward, right? And as that system moves offshore, you get lesser values, of course, right? But you can see where the highest parameter space is here. Most unstable cape in the atmosphere also shows high values in this area, which explains why the severe threat is maximized there, okay? But all within this parameter space, you have plenty of energy in the atmosphere. If you look at dew points, okay, very soupy air mass, 60-degree dew points all the way into central Pennsylvania along the spine of the Appalachians. So you could see why we got that flooding threat as well here. All right, those 60 dew points move to the east here and eventually get cut off as that low pressure and front moves offshore. Much drier air moving in behind it. All right, so thankfully that'll be out of the way in the next couple of days. Temperatures, like I said, quite mild here. 60s, 70s, maybe approaching 80 degrees today. So if that can be realized, we got some really unstable air fixing to be impacted by these systems today and tomorrow. All right, so a few more parameters here to look at. Supercell composite, maximized along this area here where the highest severe threat is, right? We looked at that before, okay? That threat moves to the east and not nearly as impactful as it moves into New Jersey and New York, okay? So you can see where it's maximized with supercells potential. Significant tornado parameter is also maximized in this area as well with the highest values 3 and 4 here. So STP values up here for this up in this area are pretty unusual, especially this time of year. So if this is realized, we could have another severe outbreak on our hands in this area. We'll see, right? Helicity swaths. This gives us a good idea of the maximum helicity values. Means, circular motion in the atmosphere that could lead to tornadoes. So you can see these swaths here as we move through time, and then deep south as well. And one more parameter here to look at. Same for the zero max 5 kilometer helicity swaths as well. And this is your composite radar updraft helicity swaths. See whether maximized here as these storms move through. So that's the timing for the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic and parts of the Midwest for today and tomorrow. So as we move into today, I want you all to be safe out there with the severe weather threat continuing here, and the backside of this with the snow. And as we get through the next couple of days, things will calm down a lot. Thankfully, give us a break here, give us time to clean up from this mess. And hate to sound so serious, but it's been a very somber watching these storms impact people's lives. So pray for those folks. I hope you all have a great day. Be safe out there, and God bless.